there's been 4.5, 5 weeks of work that you haven't submitted. And even prior to your aunt dying, for which I'm sorry, you hadn't submitted the work.
Yeah.
So you can, and then you've got the Royal Conservatory done. So you could decide, I'm only going to take one course. Maybe 2 is too much.
Yeah.
But if you're here in this program, there is the expectation that you do the work. And if you don't, then we put you, then we say you can't re-register.
Yeah.
So if you're serious about really wanting academic upgrading to pursue nursing or lab tech, then you do need to start handing in assignments. And we can, and we will, because the ministry who's paying for this program doesn't want to keep using taxpayer dollars to fund people who aren't keeping up their end of the bargain. So this is sort of like, this is your first kind of warning, or it's like a check-in. Hey, William, why aren't you doing the work?
Yeah.
And you say, because I've had some personal struggles and because I work. So what do you want to do about that?
So I've been thinking about perhaps maybe kind of switching it out to just doing the math, and in the future, I guess I'll just finish off, with the semester, because the semester is almost done. And then I'll do then the other 2, the math, and then the other one, if these courses are not required for me to graduate this program. If these 2 courses are not required for me to graduate this program in order for me to go in with that goal, then I can go ahead and choose to drop out of the English and the computers, and then just do the math, and then the ones I need, the courses I need the credits for the prerequisites I need in order to go into those programs I want to do from the college level program, hopefully. And then I can send you then the link for the other one. What's it called? For the academic upgrading with
U of T.
Yeah, U of T. And then to kind of take it in there.
I mean, if you want to be clear first on your goal and why you're in upgrading. If your goal is to be a high school secondary teacher, then you could say, well, academic upgrading isn't necessarily a step towards that path. We can get you to a college diploma that then maybe leads to the university, or you could investigate going right to U of T's bridging program.
Yeah.
Which I forget the name of it also.
So I'm kind of taking a look into
But why did you choose upgrading?
I chose academic upgrading because Jennifer Dewar recommended it for me.
Why did she recommend it?
She said it would be a good option for me. She said instead of going directly into university, she said I don't quite think I'm ready. She says she kind of thinks, William needs to build up, speaking in the third person, but so you're thinking William needs to build up more on his level in here.
And how were you handing in assignments in CV?
CV was fairly good with handing in assignments and managed to get them done there in the class because they had a homework space in there where I managed to get my assignments done in there. It's just where sometimes Mikkel keeps us around 10 minutes after lunch break, and I don't have enough time to eat lunch.
Right. You still have 40 minutes. Lunch is an hour.
Where sometimes I'm in a rush, and I'm always in a rush all the time.
Well, I think just looking, Chris and Carolyn and I met because Carolyn is the one who came and said, I'm concerned William's not doing the work. Mikkel also came and said, I'm concerned William's not doing the work. And then Carolyn said that she created a whole plan, a support plan. But you haven't...
I couldn't find the assignment on the Brightspace in there. I was looking through for the thing to download. I couldn't find it in the Brightspace file.
But you're in Carolyn's afternoon class?
Yes, in her English.
So we've now created a wraparound support with the Tutoring and Learning Center. Those tutors are in there for an hour.
Because I have Wheel-Trans pickup right at 2:30. So that's why,
So can you
I can see if I can extend it, if I can extend my pickup time to be a little bit later. The only issue with Wheel-Trans is either 2:30 or 4:30. So it's they only give me 30 minutes intervals in there, but then with 4 o'clock, then if I'm working here with the tutor from Waterloo, I'm only working with them for half an hour or an hour, then I'm stuck downstairs for like half an hour doing absolutely nothing.
Well, it sounds like you have enough work to use your hour with the tutor. Like you haven't done anything in 5 weeks, so it sounds like you could book the Wheel Transfer 4 and maximize your 3 days on campus, really digging into the work with the tutor until 3:30.
Okay. And do they have a tutor for my computers course that can help me out with that, with like the word stuff, or?
No, but start with the comms. I mean, the Tutoring and Learning Center is pretty well versed on digital skills because they're very much connected to communication skills. But ultimately, William, it's your choice. If you want to be here, you have rights and you have responsibilities. And your responsibilities are demonstrate progress, do the work.
Yeah.
And so if you say, well, the work is hard, or you know, I've got competing demands on my time, then we can figure out supports for you. And we want to make sure you have all the supports available. But at the end of the day, if you're not using the supports and you're not doing the work, we will remove you. So, are you registered with Accessible Learning Services?
Yes, I am. I'm registered in there for my autism, and I'm not registered in there for cerebral palsy because I don't have a proof of diagnosis.
That's okay.
Cerebral palsy,
but so if you think that you'd like to revisit your conversation with Karen Walker, your consultant, and say, hey Karen, I just had a meeting with the manager, and I'm not she's calling me. I'm not doing any of the work. What can I get to support me? Do I need my own dedicated tutor? Do I need a learning strategist? Do I need a note taker? Do I need, so that's something to do. I'm gonna write these down because
if you could just write them down.
So there's check-in with ALS around supports.
Have you met with Dawn yet?
No.
William?
No, I haven't.
So
I've
maybe
only emailed and that was it. I just sent in the application form. Everything was through email.
So maybe you're not registered.
I'm registered underneath in there because they have my supports in there. I believe so, right, for my extra time. Yeah.
But it's just, and you haven't met with.
No, I haven't met with
Karen.
Dawn in person or Karen in person. Not you.
Not me.
No, because your name is Karen.
Oh, Chris Karen. But if William's saying that
That's why I was confused here.
If William's saying he has the extra time, then he must have had a meeting to get registered, no? If he has an accommodations plan?
Everything was all on email. For my accommodations, everything was all sent on email with Austin. Because Austin sent in, it was before.
Oh, that's just for the application.
Assessment.
Okay, we need to register.
Alex, So they have that form, so that's kind of why I'm getting the double time. I think that's why I'm getting double time on my assignment.
That was just for the intake assessment. We give that for everybody because no one's a student.
That's why I wasn't too sure about everything in there, because I know this program is not special needs based like how college vocational is, right? So this one's more.
But Jennifer Dewar did tell all college vocational graduates, such as yourself, to get registered with Accessible Learning Services before beginning.
So that's why I thought that was already. I thought it was registered.
No, that's just for the average. Okay.
So that's where the confusion.
So you need to follow up with registered with ALS. I strongly recommend changing Will Transfer 4 p.m. pickup so you can attend your TLC homework hour.
I also have a respite worker that I see once every 2 weeks. I have a respite worker that I see that also helps me out with assignments.
Oh, that's great. Where do you see the worker?
He's with Carrie's Place Autism Services.
And what day of the week is that?
It differentiates.
So try to, if possible, schedule your respite worker appointments so they don't conflict with your classes here.
Is it helpful? Yeah. That's good. That's good to have that extra support.
So what's happening right now, William, with your pre-ACE class? Like, are you attending it or?
I'm attending it. I go every day.
Are you? But I think you're gonna have to redo it because you haven't done any of the assignments. So.
That's where I'm wondering if it's necessary for me to redo the class, because if I'm going into those other programs and with my goal, if I'm planning on, like, for example, to go into nursing or going into a lab technician in there, if they need that credit, because I know that this program only qualifies for that one specific credit.
So there's a few things going on. Technically, you don't need an English credit from us because you have a grade 12C.
Yeah.
But when we did our assessment with Alex Popovich, your reading scores and your writing scores demonstrated to us that you could do with some upgrading in English. So you could choose to do the English. And if you're going to pursue, if you're going to pursue even chemistry with us, chemistry is more math based, but if you're going to pursue further education, increasing or improving your computer communication skills could be good. But at the end of the day, that's your decision.
Yeah, because that's where I'm thinking I may not need it because I already have the credits already. It's not really needed to get a second credit in there because it's not only going to count not as a college level degree. It's only going to count as that.
Although your score in your grade 12, your mark matters. Nursing is an incredibly competitive program.
Yeah.
So
the mark was a 91 in grade 12 English. 2 years. That was 3 years ago. Yeah.
Grade 12 college English C.
Grade 12 college level English.
Okay. So you could stay. You could. If like I don't think there's any reason for you to be sitting in Bill's class right now, kids, right? Because Carolyn's left with Bill.
Yeah.
You haven't done the 5 preceding weeks. They're all now working towards making that final paragraph.
Yeah.
For which there's all of these
steps beforehand.
So I think you should just pause and spend some time getting registered with Accessible Learning Services. Spend some time meeting with Chris and Basil and really talking about, okay, what are my goals? Where do I realistically see myself? And make a plan for, am I coming back to pre-A's or am I going to math? Because I'll tell you, William, if you're having a hard time keeping up with the assignments in pre-A's, math is going to be worse.
Yeah.
Because math is more intense. There's more quizzes. It moves at a quicker cycle.
Yeah.
So pre-ACE coming back and doing that again in November and December might be advantageous. The computers class, there isn't a job in the world that doesn't need good computer skills.
That have good computer skills nowadays because everything's so digital. Like even like coming in here, like thank you for putting in the exception for me to get the laptop because I came in here. I still would like to get my MacBook up and running here. For some reason, I'm having an issue where I'm running a macOS High Sierra. It's a 2010 MacBook Air. Whenever I try connecting into the Wi-Fi here, it won't connect.
Have you taken it to the library?
I've spoken into the library. They don't know. Wolf told me that it's probably due to this college changing their servers. But a friend of mine, Conlon, he's having the exact same issue.
Have you called the helpline?
No, I haven't called the helpline
call
yet.
The helpline.
Yeah, and I'll see what they can do about that one because all my files are all on there from last year.
Okay,
so it'll be more helpful. I want to register the HP laptop you got for me from Austin. Austin gave me a free laptop for the program.
Yeah.
I think you made an exception for me. I'm curious as
so you still have that?
I still have it. That's the one that I bring to school every day. I'm curious about, in order to activate HP's warranty, they're asking for proof of purchase. So I don't know if you can email that to me of like what store it was purchased from.
Let me look into that.
Yeah, because because I called them up just for like warranty or just general warranty because I understand that that laptop is for me to keep.
Yes.
Like in case something happens to it, like if I need like take it back to the store or something like that.
Yes, I understand.
Not saying I'm gonna go run into the store and saying, okay, you give me $500 for free, and I'm not gonna do that. But I'm just saying as an exaggeration. I'm just saying in general, if they, if you take something, like let's say for example, okay, I returned this glass at the store. How do you know this glass came
No, I
from that
understand.
store?
Let me ask. That's a good question. I'm sure you're not the first person to ask about that.
Yeah.
So this is what I suggest you do, and if you agree, then I'll write it out in an email so that it's kind of more official. We're going to take you out of computers and pre-ACE right now. Doesn't affect your status with us. Doesn't affect anything. You'll still remain, an George Brown student. There's really only 2 weeks left because today's Thursday of week 5. So there's week 6 and there's week 7. October 21 to 25, there are no classes because it's intercession. This means you have 2 weeks to do quite a lot. You're still gonna be working. You're gonna get registered with Accessible Learning Services, and we'll make sure you know how to do that. And you're gonna book a follow-up appointment with Chris to really talk about what's your goal path.
Yeah.
Because you're talking about
because
nursing.
when I have 3 different things that I'm interested in. Like as a young kid, I've always said the nursing thing kind of gets into me because as a young kid, I have a lot of health problems. So as a young kid, I used to go into the emergency room. Like one time, I had anaphylactic shock here around a year ago today. I went in there with security, I had to call the ambulance, everything. I kept all the ECG pads, everything. I went in there, I started researching about those things. Everything that saved my life. The IV that came out of my arm.
But then there's also
I got into that.
Then there's also the practical aspect of are you good at math and chemistry and biology? And do you have the grades to get in? And do you have the stamina to go through nursing?
Yeah.
There's all the practical things, and this is where
Chris Karen will
can help you and try to focus. Is it lab tech? Are you a science guy? Is university really your how feasible? Do you see yourself being in school for the next 6 years? Do you have thousands of dollars, or are you comfortable getting student loans? Because university's expensive.
Because I do know that I had an RESP account.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the balance is, but I know that there's quite a bit of money in there. Because I know that was used maybe a 10th of that was used for my college vocational
so there's still
diploma. I'm curious, will I have Georgetown health insurance for this program also in there?
Yeah, AU students,
You have to apply for it.
Yeah, because I'm not too sure about that.
It doesn't come automatically.
Mine from college vocational wouldn't transfer over?
No, I think you have to apply and pay for it.
Yeah.
That's with the student association. So when you're back with that, when you're back in November, December, maybe look into that. So in the next 2 weeks, you're going to get all the accessible learning services arranged. Get your Wheel-Trans arranged so that you can stay for the tutoring. And then have a pathway meeting. And then depending on what you guys decide in the pathway meeting, maybe we'll enroll you back in pre-Ace and back in computers, or maybe we put you in computers and math, or maybe we only take one class at a time. But that's a good...
Because a friend of mine, she has a learning disability. She's in arts and science program, and she says they have a reduced course load. So I don't know if you think that might be helpful for me or not. In there, reduced course load, a reduced workload. I know I've spoken that to Liz Broadcast before about last year, and she says, I wouldn't do that because our program is only suited for a 1-year program. That means we'll have to extend it for 2 years. So that's why I wouldn't be able to do that. But I know your program, some students have been in here. I was chatting with Wolf. He told me he'd been in here for a previous 2 years. So that's kind of where, where other students, I guess they can stay a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Well, it all depends. It's not a 1 year. Okay, you finish and then you graduate, or if you don't you don't finish by the deadline. If I don't finish all my college vocational work by the deadline, then I get you lose all the money.
So this is where your conversation with accessible learning services will be really helpful to decide should you go down to just one course. Chris as well can help. But that's for you to decide, and then we will meet the accommodations. But it's really important, William, that you understand that while you have rights and we want to support you, you have to meet the expectations of learner progress. So you're really good at attendance, excellent, but you're doing the work is not where we need it to be.
High up as it needs to be, more higher up.
So when you come back for November and December, I will have a learning contract.
So
just
no
let me finish.
School then next week. Sorry, I haven't done interrupt because of my ADD.
It's okay.
But no school then next week.
Correct.
Yeah, if you could just send that in the email.
I will.
Because my ADD, you talk about something, within the flick of a net, I'm gonna forget everything.
Yeah, I understand.
And I hate it.
I'll put it in writing. So when you return for November and December, if it's taking pre-Ace or it's taking computers or it's taking math, I'm gonna give you a learning contract that you sign. It's like an agreement between William and Ashley that says, I will use the supports and try to get the work done. If you don't, if we're sitting
like
here,
your work contract that Denise gave you when she hired you.
Exactly. And if I don't do my job, guess what happens to me?
You're gonna get fired.
Exactly. So if we need to sit down again in December, and I'm like, William, you haven't done any work again. We're in the exact same position. Then we will not put you back in classes in January. Okay? So it's, but again, before we get there, we want to make sure that you're supported. So that's why register with Accessible Learning Services. Yeah, maybe drop down one class. Get the tutor, change the wheel trans, figure out your goal path. Because if you're not motivated, you're like, why am I even doing English and computers? Then it's harder to do the work. I've talked a lot. Chris, anything you want to add?
I guess I'm kind of more curious for us to sit down and figure out what got in the way to do the work and what, you know, whether, we could sit down.
Have like a meeting in there.
I mean, while you're here now, you can, if it's helpful, you're here, you've already made the time. If it's helpful to talk about that.
Yeah, because it's just like in general, like I'm very busy, right? You know, with 2 jobs and stuff like that. There's a lot of things in there where like I'm a very busy person. Also with ADD, when you're like, again, like I forget about something. I need like something right in front of me. I need someone saying, hey.
Do you have because when you register with Accessible Learning Services, they're going to ask you to